the whole world. And I am not praising a person or diminishing another. I am showing you that God can use two different people on the two different sides of the political map in this country, and still He is on the throne, and this word is still 100% true. So it was 2016, and the accident took place. Nobody took it seriously. That's why the fraud was not really in full motion. And then, guess who won the election? 2016.
Yeah.
No, we promised this was not. We are now here to try and understand how God works through this man and through his successor. We have to be open to understand that, okay? So there's a president who had both domestic policies and also foreign policies. In the domestic policies, we see they're targeting anti-Semitism, coming against the BDS movement in colleges and campuses, defunding international nonprofits that supports BDS, signing executive orders targeting anti-Semite or colleges, college campuses, even in the US. We see the pledge to protect right to pray in public schools. We see the care, not the talk, the real care for minorities in the country. When it comes to jobs, when it comes to quality of life, we see that not only the domestic policies were like that, but even as in the foreign policy, we see that the bad guys were afraid of him and the good guys enjoyed him. As far as the bad guys are concerned, maximum pressure strategy on Iran was proven to be very successful. If that's not enough, the first president ever to acknowledge the Golan Heights, Judea, and Samaria, which are the mountains of Israel in the scriptures, as part of Israel. It's hard for me to even tell you how frustrated I am to be called by people, some punks in colleges, that I'm an occupier in a land that belongs to me. But you can talk about it, or you can actually implement and make it a law, and that would happen. We see that the sovereignty over the Golan Heights took place. We see that Israeli settlements construction in West Bank should keep going on, and Jews return back to their ancestral homeland. The Judean and Samaritan mountains are the heart of all the stories of our forefathers. If that's not enough, the capital of Israel, Jerusalem, for the first time in the history, is recognized by the world superpower. And the first time ever, a sitting president goes to pray at the Western Wall without fearing that his State Department will declare a national crisis or international crisis. God forbid. That's not enough. He's doing something interesting. He actually turned the tables. He realized that after many years, the negotiations with the Palestinians brought nothing. And they are basically the reason why Israel cannot move on making peace with its Arab neighbors. He changed it. He turned the table and he said, okay, why don't we try the opposite? I'm going to offer a peace deal you'll get what you want. But you'll get what you want if you will demilitarize, disarm from weapons, denounce terrorism, declare Israel as a Jewish state. Bum, 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 bum. Guess what? Of course not. And so he said, okay, if you can't do it, let's move on and have peace with the other countries. And that is exactly what happened, because the deal of the century, just so you know, never really meant to bring peace. Why? Because it was obvious to him and his team that the other side is not interested. What happened is the deal of the century, though rejected, isolated the Palestinians and made the way for what? For the Abraham Accords and for peace with Arab countries that never ever had peace with Israel. Now they have it. We just heard about it. It is prophetic that these nations would be on our side when the great invasion of Ezekiel 38 would take place. God used someone from Manhattan with bad manners, known as crazy by most of the world, but God used him to do things that the Bible predicted must happen.